Hello, model railroad fans. Welcome to Vintage Road and Rail. In today's video, we're going to unbox a sealed Tyco Johnson wax train set. And you can see it right here in front of you. And this has never been opened. As I said, it is sealed. So let's take a look around the packaging first, and then we're going to flip this open, or flip this over, and get this open, if I can not jam my sentences together. So anyway, so let's take a quick look real quick. So we'll start with some of the accessories that we see on the outside. It comes with a 17-piece bridge trestle set. And then we've got our power pack. And then up here it says it has a 36-inch by 45-inch oval of track. Alright, and here you can see we've got a Baldwin Sharknose locomotive. It looks like it's almost in Santa Fe colors with the red and the silver, but it has Johnson wax. And so this is actually a promotional train set. You can see it's in a Rock Island packaging with the Sharknose locomotive there as well. Alright, and then we have a Shout 50-foot boxcar, and we have a Pledge 50-foot boxcar, and we got a Glade 50-foot boxcar. And I can't see it, so there should be a caboose in here. I've got a loose set of these, and it has a caboose as well, but I don't see that. You know, it doesn't have a little window like these do, so you can see it. Alright, and I'm going to scoot this up just a bit, and you can see here they were given a bonus cash refund direct from Tyco on selected accessories. I don't think that cash refund was anything to shout about. I saw an older Tyco commercial that at the end of it, it said something like $5 back. But I guess it's all relative. Today we don't think, it's 2022 when I'm recording this, we don't think $5 is much of anything. But back in the 70s or 80s, probably was. Alright, so let's take a look at the edge here. And this is really large, so you can see it says the Tyco Rock Island Express, but we know this is an SP Johnson wax set. So as we scroll through here, it just kind of shows some Tyco artwork there. Now, I'm not 100% certain, but I thought I'd heard that this set was also offered in just like a plain cardboard box with everything in there. And you could get that, I don't know if it's from JCPenney's or somewhere. If someone in the comments wants to correct me on that, please do. But anyway, this is still sealed, but you can see that whoever had this must have had part of it covered because it looks pristine, but up here you can see that it's faded. Alright, so let's move over to the end. So we just really have kind of more of the same here with the Tyco Rock Island Express. You can see the seam for the plastic here. But right here, this is the key bit. It has this little sticker in here, or on here rather, signifying what train set this is. It says SP Train Set Johnson. SP. I'm not sure if that's what that's for. In any other circumstance, I might think Southern Pacific, but I don't know what that would mean in connection to this. So your other corners pretty much look identical to the two we've seen. Alright, so let's go ahead and flip this over, and let's cut the plastic off. And hopefully the lid will just lift straight off. I don't know if you can see it, but they've also got some tape holding it down. So I've got my trusty knife. So let's just kind of cut carefully along the edge. I don't mind saying it almost breaks my heart to open this. I mean, it's sealed and in pristine condition, but what fun is a train set in the box, right? Alright. So let's carefully, I don't want to ruin the box. Alright. I'm not going to worry about saving this plastic, so I'm just going to cut it off like so. Let me move around to the other side of my camera. I think it's getting about time to sharpen this knife if it's struggling with this plastic. in its defense, this plastic is pretty tough. All right, so like I said, there is a couple of pieces of tape here, so let me cut that. Excuse me. All right, so make sure there's not any more. All right, so that has got the plastic cut and the tape cut. So let's just go ahead and rip this plastic the rest of the way off. Again, breaks my heart to do this, but I can't exactly run it while it's in the box. All right. And there we go. And there is our plastic. So let's just toss that off to the side here. All right. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And there it is. And there is the caboose. All right. So up here, we've got just in a plastic baggie, the bridge and trestle set with the instructions. And here we've got the track. This will make the, I believe it said 45 by 36 inch oval track. And it looks like this is going to be true steel track instead of the typical brass track you might see. And then it does have the rail joiners on there, but it does give you a few extras. All right, so let's put this back in here. I see no reason to take all of this out of the packaging. All right, and up here, we've just got some accessories, telephone poles, signs, and the like, to just kind of scatter around your layout there for just to give it a little bit of interest. And then we have finally, for the last accessory, our power pack. So let's go ahead and set that to 0. All right, and that is pretty much it for the accessories. And like I said, I'm not going to take all of that out. I just don't see the point. And really, at the end of the day, this is going to go back in storage. Oh yeah, this had fell down in there, and looks like it done some damage to the locomotive, but I'll point that out here in a moment. But we've got the wires to connect the power pack to the track. But like I started to say, this is going to go back in the box, and it's going to go over to storage for the time being. But eventually I would like to get a display cabinet or something so that I can put this on display. But I don't really want to run it a whole lot. All right, so here's our Johnson wax caboose. So let's just give a walk around. Got a little bit of molded in detail. And we got our smokestack here. And we've got horn hook couplers, which that's to be expected. Wheels are still on there. I know one of the things, the reason I mention that is one of the things you'll bump into is when these, even though they're in the box, over time they get kind of jostled around and sometimes these wheels will pop off. But we got a little bit of detail underneath the caboose here. And I'm not entirely sure what this is. I don't know if maybe it's supposed to be like a little storage compartment in a real caboose. But we've got our ladder and our brake wheel and our railing. And we got a molded in chain here, all plastic of course. And we have more of the same on this end. So let's set that aside for a moment. All right, and let's go to the first of 3 50-foot box cars. All right, and this one says Glade, clean and clear. And on the bottom, we've got where it says Tyco there, and we've got some molded in detail. Try to make sure you can see that. I probably have a little bit of glare from the light above me. Wheels are intact. Horn hooks are both in place. And on this end, we do have our brake wheel. It has not fallen off. I expect everything to be present since it's been sealed, but that's not to say, like I said earlier, that something couldn't just get knocked off over time, just being jostled around. So we have some more molded in detail. We have our ladder here. And on the sides, we've got molded in detail, some rivet detail and such. So let's set that one aside. And next we're going to get to the pledge car. And again, it's pretty much going to be the same thing as the other one. All three of these will be. We got the molded in detail, we got our plug doors, our ladder, horn hooks and wheels are intact, our detail on the bottom here, brake wheel is there. So everything looks to be in really good shape. I'm really pleased with that. Alright, now this one is the one disappointment, but there's not a whole lot that can be done about it, is this white plastic. It's got a little bit of sun fading. That happens a lot of times to white plastic when it's been exposed to sunlight, especially stuff from like the 70s and 80s. I've been a collector of transformers for years, and that's one of the tough things is getting these transformers without them being yellowed, and looks like we've got a little bit of that going on here. But other than that, it's in great shape. Everything looks good. Got the same molded in detail as the other cars. Wheels all there, horn hooks are there, brake wheel, some more detail, little brake wheel stand. I didn't point that out on the other cars, but this side looks a little bit different because if you look at these other cars, the sides they're identical on both sides, but this one has some products, clean up with Johnson wax, and you see some of the various different cleaning products that they offered at the time. So that makes it just a little bit different from this side. Alright, so that's all of the rolling stock. So let's now get this locomotive out of here. And I've got some paperwork on the bottom I didn't think about. So before we show the locomotive, let's just take a quick look at the paperwork. I don't know why I didn't think about the paperwork. So we'll save that locomotive for last. Alright, so just here's a little flyer showing some of the products Tyco offers and a way to get a rebate on these qualifying products. And then we've got kind of a troubleshooting piece of paper here with what to do if you have issues with your train setup, and a number to call if ultimately you can't solve it yourself. And here is a parts list order form. If you find something missing or broken, you can replace it, and it looks like it's for anything. Like I see here, a reefer, Swift, tank car, Coca-Cola. So this is just a general parts order form. And finally, the last bit of paperwork is Tyco scene. So this definitely tells you it's made in the 80s, because Tyco scene is a board that came out that you could use to set up your layout on. You can see it here. You could put buildings and structures, like right here they have the trailer unloader. So all of that is available. Alright, so let's set that off to the side for a moment, and let's take a look at this SC Johnson, or this Johnson wax Baldwin locomotive, Sharknose. First off, let's point out the damage here. This is the indentations caused by those wires that go from the power pack to the track. I guess from years and years of sitting there, it's had a chemical reaction which has actually burned or melted the shape of that plastic, or those wires into the plastic. It's not the first time I've seen that. I've seen that with computers, new old stock computers from like the 80s, or just something that's been in storage for a long time. They might wrap the mouse cord or keyboard cord around it, and you'll see those little indentations where it's just had a chemical reaction. Alright, but this is going to be just a regular Tyco power torque, but I'm surprised that the wheels look really good, so there's not really any oxidation there. But we've got some molded in detail. We've got some vents here, and we got a door and molded in ladder, Around back, we've got another door and just some junk on there. And more of the same on this side. And on the front, we've got windows, but there's no glass, no plastic there. And then we've got our headlight. And on the top, we've got some more molded in detail. We've got our forward and rear facing horn. And we've got some more ventilation and exhaust. Alright, so let's go ahead and set this over here. And that is an unboxing and a look at this train set. So I'm going to stop the camera right here for a moment, and I'm going to put all the paperwork back in, kind of reassemble the box and set it off to the side. And then I'm going to put this train on the track, and let's see how it runs after probably 30 years of being in storage. So hang tight, I'll be right back. Alright, so I have scooted the box out of the way. I've put everything back inside and just kind of moved it into the middle of the table. And let me just get this out of the way. And I've got our locomotive sitting right here. But you can see I've got a switch here. So I've got the cars and the caboose all lined up there. So let's give it some power and let's see if this actually moves. So power is on. Well, it twitched. Uh-oh, there she goes. Alright, she went forward. And she's coming back. Alright, so we know it moves, so let's take the camera off the tripod here. I apologize, it's going to shake around a bit. Let's just set that off to the side. And before we start pulling some cars, let's let this break in a bit. I think I see the light working. Wow, she's running good. All right. All right, so I'm going to hit stop and let this break in for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we will pull those cars. I'll be right back. All right, so we're ready to see if we can pull some cars here. For full disclosure, I did have to lubricate this locomotive just a little bit. It's right as I was stopping the video, it squeaked, and it was doing a bit more squeaking. So I popped the power torque drive out and gave it just a little drop of oil on the back of that shaft on the opposite side of the pinion gear, and then put some lubrication on the gears themselves so that hopefully it can run smooth, because I would imagine after 30 years of sitting in that box, whatever lubrication was on there probably wasn't much good. But I just re-lubricated it. I didn't want to strip it down and clean it all up and then re-lubricate it, because after I shoot this video, it's going to go back into storage for a little while, and I will do it maybe in the future when I'm ready to put it on display, or maybe have the ability to run it a little bit more frequently. All right, but anyway, that's enough yammering here and kicking that plastic out of the way. So I've got it off on this little siding here. So let's go ahead and put it in forward, and let's see if we can come out slowly. This blue car was giving me a bit of trouble, so I'm hoping it doesn't disconnect. So we'll just come out nice and slow, and that's a pretty good slow speed actually. I'm rather impressed. Come on, you can do it. All right, and we're out. So let's flip the switch and let's give it little speed. It wants to stall a lot, but I think it's time to clean my track. So there she is. Baldwin Sharknose locomotive, and it's pulling all of its cars. Seems to be struggling just a tad, but I probably would too if someone woke me up after 30 years and asked me to go do some work. Alright, Tyco fans, here is the Tyco I keep wanting to say SC, but the Tyco Johnson Wax promotional train set. I don't know about you, but I think it looks beautiful. I love these Baldwin locomotives. Looks like she's warming up. Alright, so let's watch it take a few laps. Let's just get down here. Let's get kind of trackside. Watch her go around. Ah, now she's cooking. I think I want to slow her down. Last thing I need to do is open it up after 30 years and it fly off the track. Alright, so I'm going to just let it crawl here. Alright, well that was a look at this Johnson Wax promotional locomotive and cars. Train set by Tyco, and she's really slowing down to a crawl over here. Alright, well if you enjoyed watching this unboxing and test run of this train set, make sure and hit that like button and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted as to when I have more content going up on YouTube. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. So thank you much for joining me here at Vintage Road and Rail. Happy model railroading, guys. Take care.